Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I bought the biggest one on Marketplace. Let's take a look. Welcome to Man Time. Well, we're out here on the back of the truck bed. It is officially wintertime down here. Jackets like the whole bit. No sunshine, but not too bad. It's supposed to be a fairly rainy winter, and maybe a little bit colder than usual. But I got on Marketplace. I was looking for a good wood stove for the new barn dominium. 6,000 square feet. You need a really, really big wood stove. And this one just happened to show up on Marketplace. It was used to heat something like a 6,000 square foot warehouse. So, or a shop, something like that. But it looks to be homemade, but it also looks to have been really well homemade. It's got like an afterburner system. It's got a flue coming into the bottom of it to regulate the air intake. All that stuff. Let's get in here and take a look at it. It even came with some free wood, so, Let's see if we can get it cleaned up, cleaned out, and ready to go into service. Yeah, so here is as found, and you can see some wood in there. It's also got like a little piece of the grating that's broke out of there. But it's got a clean out down here. It's also got your air intake and some linkage underneath of it. That's kind of weird and also makes it very difficult to pick up without breaking something. But you can see here, like, the detail that went into things. You've got a little heart on there. The welds and the hardware, this is all cast iron looking stuff, but I think it's just steel, But everything is really, really well done. Like down here, the welds, the hardware, everything. Yeah, so here's looking onto the inside, but the really cool thing is up here. It's got that secondary burn, burners, and it's pretty hard to see, but there's tubes coming up the side and then into this secondary burn system. And I think that's what this lever controls down here. So let me start cleaning this up, and then we can take maybe a little bit better look at it. All right, so a little bit of backstory on wood stoves and wood stove heating for my new barn dominium and down here in Texas. It doesn't get real cold, but when it does, it gets chilly. Like it can get down to 30s for a week at a time, something like that. And I'm going to want to be burning and keeping the shop warm, keeping the house warm. A lot of the time down here, it's electric. We don't have a gas infrastructure set up down here. So my electric bill in the wintertime is much, much higher than in the summertime, matter of fact. To the tune of maybe as much as $100 more a month. And, of course, that's with a small camp house, trailer house that we're living in now, with a much larger, double the size of living space, 3,000 square feet, 10-foot high ceilings. It's going to be much, much more. And, 2 heating units, air handlers, heat pumps. It's going to be extremely expensive to heat it in the wintertime. But with this one here, I should be able to heat the shop, like the entire shop. And so around the living space, it's going to be warm. And then I'm planning to have another one in the living space, in the main living room. And I was going online and looking at the prices of, like, if I wanted to heat the whole 3,000 square foot living space, and it's going to be mostly divided, so, looking online, there was a lot of good reviews on, like, the Buck. That was a good one, and then I think Hearthstone, something like that. But a lot of good reviews on the Buck. Now, a Buck, and then, there was one other one, Flame Master or something. There's only a few made in the U.S. Anyways, just going on like Lowe's and Home Depot, the typical ones you see there, basically those are all made in China. And interestingly enough, of course I go to the biggest one, right? I was like, well, I'm going to get a big one for heating the shop. And it was $3,000-ish dollars, and more, when you add on all the stovepipe and stuff. So started looking on Marketplace, and what do you know? Find something that's, well, let's check how big of a log we can put in here. that's going, here's 3 feet right here. So this does pose a little bit of an interesting challenge. Most of the wood stoves from Lowe's and Home Depot, I'm still trying to figure out which one I'm going to get there, only allow up to a 20-inch log. This is taking a 36-inch log. Let's see how wide we can get it in here. So this is this is 24 inches wide, 36 inches long. Just over that, because you can fit 36 inches inside of there, so probably 38 by 24. So I'm going to be able to cut 20-inch logs. Should be able to cut 20-inch logs, but I'm going to also have to probably cut some, 30-inch, something like that, to be able to feed this thing, lengthwise, saving time, right? Just throwing big 30-inch logs in there. But I'm going to have to now cut 2 different sizes, one for the more commercially available soapstone, fire brick type of wood stoves, versus this one that's just going to be like burning red hot, pumping out massive, massive heat. Probably put a big blower, fan blowing on it while I'm, running it, stuff like that. But let's get it cleaned out, vacuumed out. I want to see how bad this damage is down in the grating. There's definitely some burn through there. I also want to see if this ashtray is going to work and what type of tool I'm going to need to make to get this ashtray cleaned out, because it doesn't look like it's been cleaned out in quite a while. And then try to figure out how to actually lift up. Again, there's linkage under here for this air intake system, but it does actually appear to be working. So probably lube that up and get it working a little bit better. Let me start getting it cleaned up. We'll show you what's going on here. Yeah, a lot of wood scraps in there. Here's what it looks like after the first round of vacuuming. And, oh, it's bad. It's real bad. Yeah, I can tell I'm going to have to clean that out a few times. And, yeah, this thing is all but full, up to here, up to the filter. Well, here's the aftermath of vacuuming this thing out. What happened was the previous owners did zero maintenance basically. So I banged on those, tried to get those as clean as I could. I think that's secondary burn, but it looks really it looks like it's in actually pretty good shape, like the walls, everything. These tubes, really interesting, they come through the feet. Let me show you on this one here. Yeah, so the air comes up and through the feet and then into those tubes. And then under here is that linkage system that then opens the damper. Right, slides back and forth on either side here. And that allows air to come up through the feet, through here, and then up through the tubes on the side. These tubes here, up there, and then, let's see if we can get a good picture of it here. Yeah, and then into these tubes. So, yeah. But everything appears to be in fairly good shape. That hole that was down here in the middle, I just went ahead and grabbed this old scrap piece of 1/4-inch plate steel, cut that to fit through the diagonal here of the door, about 18 inches, threw that down in there, got all the dust and soot, ash, vacuumed out of there. Filled this thing up about 6 times. So it was basically from the grating all the way down to the clean out here. It was basically packed, especially like the back half of it there, just completely packed with ash. So got that all figured out. Now I just got to figure out how to lift it, and the problem there is, like, with this linkage, you know, there's really no good place to lift it except for right there. There's one little spot there, and then on the other side there, if I can get something. This thing is going to be a beast, though. But yeah, here's what I'm talking about. You know, how it looks kind of professional-ish. It's got these hearts. You know, there's things on here that are making me think that this was some sort of commercially available type of unit. Either that, or they just, you know, sourced parts that were, you know, designed to make something like this. But if you guys know down there in the comments if this was something that was commercially available or not, let me know. Well, this wood stove, the last thing that I need to do is to get it off of the truck. Now, we had a forklift to load it on here. My hay forks are just too wide. They run basically right into the feet. So that's not going to work. So I've got 3 to 4 straps and a backhoe, and we'll see what we can do here. You can see my kind of plan is to put one strap on one side, one strap on the other side, and then maybe a strap between them to go somewhere over the backhoe. Let's see if it works. I just don't know. thing is heavy. Mega heavy. Alright, man. Well, I've got the new wood stove set up over here. This is along the western side of the shop. Basically, yeah, western side, right up next to this window. Probably going to have a lathe right here under this window. Wood stove right next to it, so like machine shop tools and stuff over here, keeping those warm, keeping the rust off of them, hopefully. Pallet racks over there, but yeah, make sure to subscribe to check out this wood stove, getting a stovepipe on it. You can see I've got them sitting over here. Got the deals here. That's what's going to seal against that R-panel roof. And I think I'm going to be all set. Why don't you get out there, have some man time too.